Banks are by far the most commonly used type of financial institutions in the United States. This is because they provide a wide variety of services to their customers. First, they allow you to deposit and withdraw money from your savings and checking accounts. They also provide insurance for your deposits through the FDIC. This government-sponsored insurance program insures your deposits up to $250,000 if for some reason your bank closes. Banks also provide loans to individuals and businesses. Larger purchases often require you to take out a loan, and banks are the biggest providers of these loans. Banks also provide a variety of other services that assist you in financial planning. Many banks provide you with a debit card, as well as the ability to electronically transfer funds and make automatic payments on many of your bills. Banks also provide certain investment services to their customers. Choosing the right bank is an important decision in personal financial planning, and therefore should be researched thoroughly before making a decision on which to use for your financial needs. When choosing a bank to use for your checking account, there are many different factors to consider. These can impact both how convenient and how expensive it is to use your checking account on a daily basis. For example, be sure to choose a bank that has convenient locations both near work and home. These are the places that you will most frequently use, and not having access to a bank close by can be a major inconvenience. It can also be costly. Most people use the ATMs that their banks provide more than any other service. When you are forced to use ATMs from other banks or businesses, you will be charged a fee by both your bank and the owner of the ATM. Combined, these fees can be $5 to $10, even if you are only taking out a small amount of money. Another major factor is the minimum balance required. Many banks will charge you a monthly fee of $10 or more if you don't maintain a certain balance or amount of money in your account. Especially as a student, you want this balance to be as low as possible. Many banks offer special student accounts that allow no minimum balance or one as low as $100. While there are other factors as well, these are the most common and some of the most important to take into account when choosing a bank, especially as a student. There are many different types of investments that you can make in order to grow your savings over time. Each type of investment comes with its own risks and rewards. Real estate, stocks, bonds, and mutual funds are some of the most common types of investments that individuals can make. Real estate investments are when you purchase a piece of property. There are several ways that you can profit from this type of investment. First, you can profit through the sale of the property at a later date. Real estate tends to increase in value over time, so by purchasing and holding a piece of property, you can make a significant profit when selling it years later. You can also profit from real estate by renting it to other people. This has the added benefit of providing you with additional monthly income in a form of rent payments. The major drawback of real estate is that it typically requires a large amount of capital to make your initial investment, which is prohibitive for most people. Stock investments are when you purchase shares or small pieces of ownership in a company that is publicly traded. Most of the major companies, such as Apple, Microsoft, Boeing, and others, are known as public companies, and you can purchase stock in them. By purchasing a share in the company, you can earn income in two ways. First is through selling the shares for a profit if and when their value increases. As the company expands and profits, its share prices typically rise, which give you the opportunity to sell them for profits, commonly known as capital gains. The second way is through the collection of dividend payments, which are cash payments for each share you own. Many companies give these payments to their shareholders each quarter of the year. The biggest risk in stock investments is that they are not guaranteed against loss. If a company goes bankrupt, all of the shareholders are wiped out, which results in the loss of your entire investment. Bonds are a type of investment where you essentially take the role of a bank. By purchasing a bond, you are actually loaning a company, town, or even the federal government money in order to complete a project. You earn money on the investment through interest payments throughout the life of the bond, which typically ranges between 5 and 30 years. Much like stocks, these have the risk of losing money if the company goes bankrupt, though bonds are generally considered much less risky than stocks. Mutual funds are a very popular form of investment due to their ability to reduce risk of financial loss. When investing in a mutual fund, you are actually pooling your money with thousands of other people. The mutual fund is run by financial experts who then take all of the money invested and spread it out among a variety of different investments. This process is known as diversification, which enables the mutual fund to minimize risk. If one investment made fails, there are still many others that exist and can help to offset the loss of the bad investment. The main drawback of mutual funds is that many have high fees associated with investing in them. Each of these types of investments have advantages and disadvantages depending on your financial situation. It is important to conduct research and, when appropriate, seek professional financial advice in order to make decisions on which types of investments are right for you and your financial security. When budgeting, you will have to make economic decisions that involve trade-offs and scarcity. In other words, you will have to choose between a few things because while you may want all of them, you will not be able to get them all at the same time. When making these decisions, you should take into account opportunity costs. Think of these as the pros and cons of your decision. Say you decide to buy a new TV. When you purchase this TV, you will have explicit and implicit costs associated with your purchase. The explicit cost is the actual dollar amount spent on the TV. The implicit cost is a little trickier. This has to do with the loss of an opportunity you had prior to buying the TV. Maybe you can't purchase other items with your money. Maybe you'll need to work additional hours at your job in order to earn more money now. By working longer hours, you might miss out on being able to do something else. These are all examples of implicit costs. The point is this: when you make a financial decision, particularly a purchase, there are consequences beyond the actual money spent. When you earn interest on your savings, you need to be aware of the two types of interest that exist: simple interest and compound interest. Knowing the differences between these is crucial when calculating how much interest they can earn on their savings. Simple interest is interest that you earn on your principal or initial savings. If you get 10% simple interest on a $1,000 investment, you will earn $100 each year. Every year, you will earn the same $100. Compound interest is earned on both your original principal and on all prior interest earned. So if you invested $1,000 and earned 10% compound interest, you would get $100 the first year, but then $110 the second year. This is because you would have both the $1,000 principal and the $100 of interest from the first year. The longer you hold the investment, the greater the amount of interest earned each year. This brings in the concept known as the Rule of 72. When dealing with compound interest, this rule states that if you divide the number 72 by the interest rate you earn, your result will be the number of years it would take to double your initial investment. Compound interest can be more complicated than the Rule of 72, but it helps to give you an idea of how rapidly you can grow your initial investment. Depending on the type of account that you keep your savings in, you could potentially earn simple or compound interest. It is important to do your research and understand the way that interest is calculated in your accounts.